Dumbjake Digivolve to Metal Dumbjake. New Metal Dumbjake shirt, only available until May 15th. Link in the description. There is a Transformers toy line that I've been interested in since I was a kid. It's called Transformers Alternators, also known as Transformers Binaltech in Japan. This is a toy line designed around making the most realistic vehicle modes for Transformers. I'd say Transformers isn't really known for its super accurate vehicles. A lot of them are made up or just goofy, but in 2003, in response to fan complaints regarding the unrealistic vehicle modes of Transformers Armada, Hasbro and Takara set out to make a new toy line, one that would take classic G1 characters and update their vehicle modes to the most modern models at the time, while also focusing on making the vehicle modes as detailed as possible. These toys essentially turn into 1/24 scale model cars. Unfortunately, the production of this toy line would become a nightmare. Several car manufacturers refused to work with Hasbro, not wanting their car brands to be associated with war toys, including Volkswagen, meaning the planned Bumblebee update never came to fruition, and other characters had different vehicle modes than their G1 counterparts. What's funny is all of this came about because Hasbro was basically making unlicensed cars, and they had been doing that since the original toy line. They finally got in trouble in 2001 with the Dodge during Robots in Disguise, because Sideburn basically turned into an unlicensed Dodge Viper. Eventually that was sorted out between Dodge and Hasbro, leading the repaint Super Sideburn to be the first Transformer to be officially licensed by a car brand, which would become increasingly common in the franchise, especially with the live-action movies. But at the time, it was a total novelty, which Alternators took to the extreme. These toys were large, much more complicated than the current Energon toys of the time, and they were also targeting the nostalgia of Generation 1 for the first time since it ended. I think these toys are wildly fascinating. They represent a turning point in the Transformers franchise to me, and in today's video, we're going to break down the whole line. What's good, internet? Jake here, dumb as ever. I've wanted alternators since I was a kid, but for whatever reason, I never had one. But thanks to today's sponsor, JP Fans, I was able to get an awesome selection of Transformers Alternators, or rather, their Japanese counterparts, Transformers Binaltech, which are almost exactly the same, though there are some differences which we'll get into. Using JP Fans to find these toys was amazingly easy. In case you don't know, JP Fans is a website that allows you to shop from Japanese online stores, like Mercari, Amazon, and Surugaya. I love using Mercari because you can find amazing deals. For example, I was able to get Binaltech tracks complete in box for $26. Pro tip, if you want to find Transformers easily, look up the Japanese name in katakana for any series, and paste it into the JP Fans search bar. This helps because the Japanese names for Transformers shows and characters are completely different than the American versions. Any item you order will be sent to the JP Fans warehouse, where they can hold your items for up to 60 days, allowing you to bundle multiple orders. They'll also send you QC photos, so you know your items all look right before you receive them, and you pay the shipping cost once you're ready to receive your items. Keep in mind, shipping internationally is always going to be a little bit expensive, but thankfully I have the hookup. If you register an account with my link, you'll get a bunch of discount coupons. And if you redeem code DUMBJAKE, you'll get an extra 20% shipping discount coupon, which is huge. Thanks to JP Fans for sponsoring the video. And let's talk about Transformers Alternators. Now, I'm primarily going to be discussing alternators in this video. The Binaltech toy line is very similar, with the biggest differences revolving around what figures actually got released, as well as minor details between the different versions. And of course, Binaltech has die-cast metal included in each mold. Every Alternators toy has a number tied to it, so we're going to be talking about each one in number order, and I'll include any notes I have about the Binaltech versions. The Alternators line launched with the just one figure, Smokescreen, who turns into the Subaru Impreza WRC, which is a rally car based on the Impreza. It is an absolutely striking vehicle mode. I love the blue and green color scheme, and all of the little printing and detail adds so much to it. You can really see why this figure was chosen to be released first, despite not being the first figure made for the line. The robot mode is also really slick looking. Unlike a lot of the other figures in the line, his robot mode has a very defined silhouette, and he has decent posability for this line. I love how the back half of the car forms his feet. I'm really kicking myself for not picking this guy up for the video. I feel like this is what I thought live action Transformers would look like before the movies came out. The Binaltech line had two versions of Smokescreen, one with a number 8 on the side like the US, which featured the names Mäkinen and Lindstrom on the back window, and one with the number 7, which had the names Solberg and Mills in the same place. Smokescreen was later retooled for the Binaltech line into Smokescreen GT, which had some minor changes applied to reflect the real-world changes to the rally car. There were also two variants of this toy. The next Alternators release was Sideswipe, with a space in his name for legal reasons. He turns into a red Dodge Viper, and again, the Dodge Viper was the whole antithesis of this toy line getting made. It seems like Dodge was one of the few companies eager to work with Hasbro from the jump. I kind of forgot about Dodge Vipers. They were really popular in the 2000s with those long hoods, just a unique and cool look. And what's really impressive is that this is a Viper with the roof down. Remember, this is a Transformer, so having the roof removed makes it even harder to hide robot parts. But man, they did it. I should also mention most of these figures had opening doors, hoods, and in some cases trunks. And several of them had a feature where both of the front wheels would move at the same time. Another cool note is that many of their weapons actually became the engine of the car, which is just a stupidly cool idea. Sideswipe unfortunately does suffer in robot mode. He just looks awkward to me, with skinny arms and a very square body. Since these toys are so dedicated to the car modes, they often ended up with worse robot modes. One interesting note about Sideswipe was that the body was originally developed to be tracks, but Chevrolet let Hasbro use the Corvette later in development, so the toy was changed over to Sideswipe and given a new head sculpt. Next up we have the first figure I bought from JP Fans, Binaltech Hound.
Alright, so my first review is going to be of Hound, of course, in the Jeep Wrangler mode. Very, very cool. I love this dark forest green he has. I guess it's meant to be more of a military green, but you know what I mean. And like I said, Binaltech figures have die-cast metal. I can specifically feel it on the doors and the hood, though I'm sure there's other die-cast metal around the toy. Those are just the most obvious ones to me. Let's take a look at that interior, which, wow, it's so cool. There's so much detail that's gone into this figure. From the seats to the steering wheel, the middle console there. They just went all out in detailing everything. Bro's even got a glove box. So this figure is neat because it actually has suspension. So if you put weight on the car, it'll actually bounce up and down, which is cool. I don't really understand what that's for in a car, I guess for like rocky terrain or whatever, but it is fun just to bounce it up and down. And there's just so many little awesome details, like the headlights here are nice and glass looking. You've got the Jeep Wrangler logo, and the die-cast metal / plastic is just this nice, like, sparkly green. It just looks so good. One issue I do have with the vehicle mode is that these parts with the wheels are they move a lot. So I don't really know the proper place they're supposed to go. Like, they don't really plug in anywhere. Okay, so we're gonna transform this guy. Transformation is not super difficult, at least compared to some of the other ones I've messed with so far. Basically, the legs are the back of the car, and the body is the front of the car. One of my biggest issues with these toys is, like, because of the diecast, they're heavier. It's actually, like, annoying to hold it and try and get these little parts to move, because you're, like, holding something that feels, I don't know, it's probably not even that much weight, I'm just weak, but it feels like a pound or something that I'm holding. One detail I did forget to mention is that the hood opens up and you can see the engine, but the engine is actually his arms, which is kind of fun. And here we have Hound, who is very, like, design-wise, I think he's very, very solid. I love the front of the Jeep forming his chest, his legs look clean, and overall he has a really nice silhouette. But unfortunately, I do have a few issues with him. For one, his arms are on these little rods, which is fine, but they're at a weird angle, and I feel like they don't really articulate that well. Plus, my copy's arms are really tight. These wheels are kind of just in the way, like, they kind of add to the look with the wheels on the side, but not really. They're mostly just in the way. My copy's hips are really loose, unfortunately, so he's kind of hard to stand. I've kind of got to give his legs like the chicken bend, where it's kind of forward. And even then, it's not really super helpful. But all those issues regardless, I do like him a lot. The head sculpt is really nice looking, and he does have a cool feature where you can open his extra wheel to reveal his weapon. You just transform it like that. And all the alternators have these really nice articulated hands. So these 3 fingers move, the trigger finger also moves independently, and he's got a thumb. So pretty cool stuff. Overall, this is one of the stronger designs in the line. I love the Jeep mode, and I enjoyed the robot mode despite all the issues I'm having with it.
The 4th alternator released was Silver Streak, aka Blue Streak, but they changed the name for legal reasons. There was a lot of that in this toy line. Silver Streak was actually made before Smokescreen, as he turns into the Subaru Impreza WRX, which is the street car version of what Smokescreen turns into. I'm really having to learn car facts for this video. Silver Streak is very cool, though compared to Smokescreen, he's obviously a lot more plain. I do like all the red that appears in the robot mode. Binaltech Silver Streak was repainted into Blue Streak, a blue version of the toy that essentially looks like the civilian version of Smokescreen. The next JP Fans figure I ordered is none other than Binaltech Trax. A quick note, the first version of Binaltech Trax was yellow, and the US version was also meant to be yellow, but there was some snafu in the production, so only the blue version came out in the Alternators line. I actually have no idea why he was yellow in the first place. Maybe someone in the comments can shine some light on that for me.
So here is Trax, and isn't that a gorgeous blue? Wow, I love the look of this car so much. This is one of the alternators that had the wheels that move together, so if I move this wheel, the other one would move. Which means you can dynamically make it roll around if you want. You can see right through the windshield and see those nice red seats, which is a cool detail. And if you open the door, you can also see his rocket launchers, which you could pretend are like NOS cans or whatever. Something to make the car go super fast. But as usual, we gotta check in on all this detail. I mean, even the doors have detail. Unfortunately, the trunk does not open on this one. But we can lift the hood, and we'll find this really cool engine piece, as well as all these little details around it. And yeah, it's just got this gorgeous sparkly blue plastic. Little logo here. You know, all these details you would expect from an alternator. Also, I haven't mentioned it, but all their wheels say Cybertronian Radial, which is like a fake tire company. And yeah, so much cool detail. Even the bottom, you know, you might not know right away that this is a Transformer. Look at this little detail here with the pipes. Like, is that even necessary? But it's so cool. Before we transform this guy, I do have the instructions, which I wanted to show you really quick. Just because they're really cool, they have a lot of cool pictures of the Transformer and car. Specifically the yellow version of Trax, because this is like a variant of the regular version, which is yellow. And then you have the transformation instructions, which are actually in this cool like black and white. And with this set, you actually also got a little decal for your car. So you can add this iconic Trax decal to his front. Okay, I'm gonna get this guy transformed, and I'm actually gonna use the instructions. And this guy's engine actually comes out somehow, some way. Boom, there we go. Engine acquired. And here we have Trax in robot mode. Now, this is a very striking looking robot, though the closer you look at him, the more you realize there's a lot going wrong here. Like, I mean, general shaping and stuff, he looks great, but his legs are mega skinny and have no motion whatsoever. You basically have to bend the legs a bit to get him to stand straight, because he's got, like, no backwards motion. Thanks to the unbelievable backpack that he has. He's got the top of the roof, he's got the hood of the car, the entire hood of the car on the back of his legs. He's got the car doors here, and then just 2 giant back halves of the car. So, yeah, this guy is loaded up on kibble. Despite that, I do dig how he looks, man. I think he's got some charm to him. I do love that red face that Trax has. and the head sculpt is really nice. He does have these 2 missile launchers here at the top, and he does have some extra weapons on his arm that you can flip out. The arm articulation is also a bit weird. Like, it's on a hinge here, a ball joint here, and then a hinge here, swivel here, I guess. It's like not bad, but it's just a strange articulation scheme. We do have his weapon, which should transform fairly easily. There we go, we've got a little blaster here with a handle. You just slip it into his hand, close the fingers, bada bing, bada boom, we got a blaster. So yeah, is Trax like the best figure ever? No. But that vehicle mode is so sweet. And this robot mode, while awkward, incredibly awkward, not fun to pose, just totally full of kibble, it's still charming to me. I still like it. I don't know, man. I just dig him.
The next figure was Dead End, which is the first Decepticon of the line. Originally, the line was imagined as only Autobots, but I guess at some point down the line they decided to also make some bad guys, though they're almost all locked to repaints. Dead End is actually a retool of Sideswipe. He's a bit of a retool pre-tool really, because the retool turns Sideswipe into Sunstreaker, as evidenced by his very obvious head sculpt. Kind of a basic looking guy, but I do love the red and black deco on the Dodge Viper. Next up we have Meister, aka Jazz, who had to be renamed again because of licensing issues. Meister is actually his Japanese name. He transforms into the Mazda RX-8, a really pleasing looking car. As you can probably guess, I'm not a car guy, but man, I am learning that I love the Mazda RX-8. This toy is amazing as well, taking the model car aspects to the next level. All of the doors open, and the RX-8 has suicide doors, meaning they open backwards, which is kind of raw. The interior detailing is so sick, and the robot mode is really solid as well. I feel like Meister is up there with Smokescreen in terms of robot modes, though I don't know why, his chest has always reminded me of like a V-neck sweater. Does anyone else see it, or am I just crazy? One note is that his feet are a bit difficult to deal with, making him unstable in a lot of poses. This was a big figure for the Japanese market because Mazda is a Japanese company, so the Binaltech version got a bit more love. For one, the driver's side was swapped to the right side of the car, because that's how Japanese cars are constructed. It also had another version released at the same time called the Velocity Red Mica Edition, but it's also known as Zoom Zoom, which was Mazda's catchphrase at the time. You might remember the commercials if you're old like me. Mazda was apparently hyped as hell for this toy, because there was also an auction for a one-of-a-kind repaint. The deco was designed by a Gravure Idol, which is like a Japanese bikini model basically, and it was named the Mayuko Iwasa edition after her. It was auctioned and all proceeds went to charity. To this day, we haven't seen the robot mode of the toy. And finally, there was Argent Meister, which was painted silver, being kind of based on the movie version of Jazz. So yeah, Mazda was loving this guy, and this won't be the last time we see this mold. The next figure was Swindle, being a repaint of Hound. He's rocking that awesome yellow deco, and the toy was slightly retooled, including a chrome roll bar on the front, bigger tires, and a new head sculpt, which is kind of mid. His black goggles really blend in with his helmet. This is another figure I really want to pick up though, just because I'm a big Swindle head. We now have one of the more surprising releases, the king of the Dinobots himself, Grimlock. This is the only Grimlock to my knowledge that doesn't transform into a dinosaur of some kind. I have the Binaltech version here from JP Fans.
Alright, here we have Binaltech Grimlock. Who would have known? Grimlock, a car? It's unprecedented, it's odd, it's strange, but it's exciting. Wow, it actually looks like this car has not been taken out of the packaging before? I could be wrong, but yeah, it looks like it's never been taken out, which is surprising. It's been a while since I've seen twist ties like this on a Transformers toy. Yeah, it even has this plastic on it. This thing's like factory fresh. That's crazy. Alright, and here's Grimlock out of packaging. Really nice silver deco going on here. Not the, flashiest deco, but still really nice looking, really nice and shiny. He's got the wheels that move together. You can also see his sword is stored down here. Really, really clean bottom of vehicle here. I mean, the robot hands are obviously out, but besides that, you know, you wouldn't even know. You can open up the hood to find the engine inside. You can also open the doors to see those nice red seats, as well as the interior detailing. And we even have a boot on this one. Yep, the trunk does open. Not much storage back there, but hey, there you go. Alright, I'd say it's about time to try and transform this guy. I've heard that this is maybe the most difficult and annoying one to transform, so we'll see how it goes. Alright, here we have Grimlock in robot mode, and golly, what a journey that was. I mean, there are some interesting ideas for sure, but some of it is just like bad quality. The midsection here does not plug in very securely. It can all come apart pretty easily, or maybe not. I don't know. It was being annoying before, but now it's not. That's so typical. But yeah, overall the robot mode look is really good. I love the chest hood. I love the doors here as like shoulder guards. That's awesome. I think the legs look really cool. Like, it makes good use of the kibble it has, and the back isn't even that bad, comparatively, you know, comparatively. Does have this giant piece right here, and, you know, obviously all this stuff, but again, compared to some others, it's really not that bad. His feet are actually the seats of the car, which is kind of interesting. And the worst part was having to rotate this piece right here. This was so incredibly tight that I was really afraid it was gonna break, but it didn't. It did not break. But I am very scared to transform him again. He comes with two weapons. We've got his engine blaster here. Just flip out these, and then the handle. This has a little peg here, and he has a little hole in his hand, so we're just gonna do that. And there you go, you've got his blaster. Another issue I have is that the hip ball joints are really loose. Like, not really loose, they'll hold form, but they cannot hold his weight. He's just heavy, man. Thankfully, this guy has, like, ankle tilt, so it helps a little bit. Nice to see ankle tilt on a toy so old. But, yeah, the legs are not strong enough to hold this guy generally. He does come with his iconic sword, and you can also peg that into his hand. Yep, see, there's the body coming apart. Yeah, this is how he wants to be. This is his default mode if you're not, like, handling him properly. But here he is with the sword, which is, you know, very short, more like a knife, I guess. But yeah, Grimlock as a car. Very bizarre, but pretty cool, despite all the issues I'm having with the toy.
Next up, we have Windcharger, who transforms into a Honda S2000. As usual, the car model is amazing. But a really cool feature Windcharger has is that you can either have the top up or down, which is such an awesome idea. The robot mode is just okay. He has like weirdly long legs, but I do like the car pieces as his shoulder pauldrons. For the Alternators version, his blaster is actually missing the barrel. This is because Honda didn't want him to have a weapon because blah blah war toys. So Hasbro's solution was to just remove the barrel of his blaster, which is really funny. But it leaves the blaster looking weird with obvious unused hinges. The Binaltech release did not have this issue with their version, who was named Overdrive. The Trax mold was retooled into Battle Ravage, named so because of legal issues. The Chevrolet Corvette was slightly changed, with its hardtop removed in favor of a convertible look. The robot mode is the same, save for the new Ravage head, which looks pretty bizarre, but it's actually a reference to Ravage in Beast Wars, who also had a bipedal mode. Meister was retooled into Shock Blast, which was Shockwave's replacement name for a bit. The vehicle mode is in a lovely dark purple, retooled to be a slightly different version of the Mazda RX-8. His robot mode is again excellent. I think it really fits Shockwave's look. He has his classic laser hand and a new head. Grimlock was retooled into Wheeljack. His Ford Mustang GT mode is white and blue, which aren't colors I really associate with Wheeljack, but I do feel like I've seen a car that looks like this in real life, so maybe the colors just had to be based on a real car model or something. Still, it looks great, and it is funny that he was retooled from Grimlock, considering Wheeljack created the Dinobots in G1. Windcharger was retooled into a character named Decepticharge, who was a character that never appeared before or since. He was just made up for this toy line, and even his name is just the toy's working name. He's a Decepticon version of the Windcharger toy, hence the weirdly generic name Decepticharger. I do like the black and yellow deco, and he has a bunch of fake sponsors like a race car. He retains the convertible gimmick, and his blaster still doesn't have a barrel. Swerve is another retool of Trax, rocking the red Corvette look. He came packed with the same flame decal that came with the Binaltech Trax, so you could apply it to him or your Trax figure. It's been repaint after repaint for a bit, but we finally have a new figure, Prowl, who transforms into an Acura RSX, done up like a police car of course, though I prefer his Binaltech version, just because he already looks like a Japanese police car, so the US version just looks ugly to me. This is one of my least favorite alternators. I don't really care about his vehicle mode, and his robot mode just looks dumpy. In Binaltech, Prowl got a variant called Vivid Blue Pearl Edition, which is a really accurate description of the toy. He's also missing his police siren in this version. After Prowl, there was a packaging refresh that changed over to that iconic bubble look. I really love this packaging, and these are the toys I remember on the shelves as a kid. In fact, I love this packaging so much, I bought our next figure, Skids, when I saw him at a toy store. I was originally planning to keep him sealed, but for this video, I might as well open him. I'm sure I'll find another.
Alternator Skids. I've had this guy since August of last year or something. August or October of last year. And I am finally going to go ahead and open him. Alright, here's Skids out of package, and wow, it's really funny holding a Hasbro Alternators versus the Takara Binaltech, because this thing is so light in comparison. Like, it's not bad weight, but like, it doesn't feel weighty, you know what I mean? Like, that lack of die-cast metal really changes things. Skids is pretty unique in terms of all the tampagraphs he has on him. He's got the Scion here, he's got some flames with the Scion logo. He's got this like tinted window effect going on. Or it's like yellowed, I don't know, let me know in the comments. But just like the Takara Binaltech, I mean, the details are great, man. It looks awesome. Let's go ahead and get the door open and take a look inside. We can open it up and take a look inside and see that it's just as detailed as the other toys. Here's the Scion with all of the doors and trunk and hood open. So yeah, you can really open it up. His robot feet are right there, obviously, but besides that, it's just a model car, but a Transformer. And yeah, just a cool Scion car. I really wanted this car when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I was like, I want the Cube car for some reason. So this figure has always stood out to me. So it is pretty cool to have in hand, and yeah, it's neat. Let's go ahead and get this guy transformed. Alright, and here we have Skids. Now, this is a very fine robot mode indeed. I like how he looks anyway. He's got an angled chest piece here, which is pretty cool. Door wings, nice red arms. His legs can move pretty well. Nice ball-jointed feet here. And yeah, just a pretty cool robot mode. A nice looking dude. Just like all the other figures, I do have issues with him standing though. His feet ball joints are just a bit weak. He's standing fine right now at least, but he really can't do any special posing. But man, I dig him. He's chonky, he's fun. The transformation was not that difficult at all. Very enjoyable guy over here. And we have the weapon, which is going to be a blaster as usual. Blaster mode activated. Yeah, man, I really dig the look of this guy. I don't know. Something about him I just enjoy. I've always enjoyed the look of this figure, and having him in hand now is really, really awesome.
The Binaltech version of Skids was a lot different. He was a lighter blue that didn't have any of the decals, which is pretty interesting and makes him feel more like G1 Skids. Dead End was repainted into Sunstreaker, the third Dodge Viper in the line, this time in a crisp black and yellow. Again, not my favorite robot mode, but it makes more sense as Sunstreaker than Dead End. Swindle was repainted into Rollbar, a red, almost orange-looking Autobot. Rollbar is kind of a glup shitto choice, but I guess they ran out of recognizable Jeep characters. Silverstreak was repainted into Ricochet. The Subaru Impreza WRX mode is still slick as hell. This time he's decked out in black, with Ricochet's iconic decals applied to the car. Finally, we have the figure I'm most excited to talk about, Optimus Prime. I have always been utterly fascinated by this version of the character, and thanks to JP Fans, I finally have it.
Okay, for our final JP Fans Binaltech toy, we have Optimus Prime. God, I've wanted this figure for such a long time. I was actually looking for it at TFCon last year, and I just couldn't find him. So getting him now, especially the Binaltech version, is pretty crazy. Now, a couple interesting notes about this character and toy. Originally, it wasn't planned to be Optimus, but Takara really needed it to be Optimus because Japanese people don't really drive around in Dodge trucks like this. There just aren't gigantic trucks in Japan like we have in America, so this was a tough sell to their Japanese market, so they decided to make it Convoy to be, you know, recognizable. And another thing is that this thing takes like double the amount of parts of a normal Alternators or something like that. And as you can see, this thing is a bit bigger than your regular Alternator. I mean, it is a truck, so that's accurate, right? And comparing his box to a regular Alternator's box, you can also see it's much bigger. So yeah, this dude is massive, and God, is he heavy. There's so much die-cast going on here. The sides of the trunk are die-cast, the doors are die-cast, the hood of the car is die-cast. But yeah, so much of this dude is die-cast, and it's awesome. As for features, you can open the trunk of the truck. It's got this little spoiler here, which I would think would be kind of annoying in real life, but I don't know. I do love that you can see the wheel wells here, and it just has that texturing for a truck. I always love a Transformers truck toy with an open truck bed. We can open up the doors and look on the inside as per usual. And his hood does open, but not a lot. There is a spot for his engine blaster, but I can't for the life of me figure out how this thing is supposed to go in there. I just don't know. And I've tried to just close it with it sort of loose, but that doesn't work either. So, yeah, I have no idea how to get it in there. But yeah, man, this is such a cool vehicle. And I love the concept of Optimus that turns into a pickup truck. Obviously, I think this would be more of an Ironhide-coated vehicle or something in modern day, but yeah, just Optimus turning into a regular old pickup truck, kind of a raw idea. We've got all our details as per usual. All the logos, the nice headlights. Look at that nice chrome grille. Just a stellar toy. Now let's transform into the robot mode. Alright, so here we have Optimus in robot mode, and unfortunately I gotta say this is one of the jankiest robot modes of the whole line. I mean, just looking at it, not bad. I wouldn't say it looks bad at all. But once you look a bit closer and feel it and hold it, it just feels not great, man. So he does have some articulation, but his whole body is just so, I don't even know the word. Unstable, I guess, is what I would say. This chest piece here doesn't seem to lock in any meaningful way. The arms are on like these hinges that move way too easily and annoyingly. The door pieces are all over the arms and really annoying. His legs just look like huge bricks. He has a lot of the predictable standing issues from this line. Man, compared to his vehicle mode, this robot mode is such a mess. He's got a pretty cool head sculpt, and the general shaping I wouldn't say is terrible. It's just, seriously, the hand feel is atrocious. He does have his engine gun, which which we can go ahead and give him. It's got that cool Viper logo on it. And yeah, he's got a teeny tiny gun. Not super Optimus-like, but yeah, man, I wanna like this guy so bad, and I do love the vehicle mode, but yeah, this robot mode is not it, dude.
Optimus would be repainted into Nemesis Prime as an exclusive for 2006 San Diego Comic-Con. The Dodge Ram in black and red is just too slick, and the teal that comes out in robot mode is really nice. After Optimus, the next alternator released was Mirage, who transformed into a Ford GT, an extremely cool looking vehicle. I love the dark blue deco, though it doesn't really scream Mirage to me. The robot mode is pretty cool looking. It's kind of in the middle ground of the good and bad robot modes to me. There was a repaint of Mirage which made most of the car pieces transparent plastic, a nod to his ability to turn invisible, calling it his Electro Disruptor mode. Mirage would be retooled into Rodimus, which was sold as an exclusive for the 2007 San Diego Comic-Con. While Mirage wore the mold well, Rodimus looks amazing in it to me. The red and orange really pop, and you've gotta love those flame decals. The final figure that would be added to the mass retail line was Camshaft, a retool of Prowl, and they somehow made my least favorite alternator even worse, with an incredibly boring deco, though I do like the pop of blue in robot mode. The Alternators line had not exactly done well over the 3 years it was active. They actually changed to the bubble packaging to help the line, but unfortunately many of the toys were permanent shelf warmers. So after 23 figures, the line was ended. Kind of. There were 2 more figures that made their way to Walmart shelves as exclusives. Surprisingly, they were 2 brand new toys, both being based on Soundwave's Minions. And they were the first fully new toys to be Decepticons. First we have Rumble, who transforms into a Honda Civic C, a bit of a basic civilian car. But as always, the details are on point. His robot mode is really interesting. Several details harken back to his G1 mode, the most obvious being his pile driver arms, which spring out during transformation. It's a very unique robot mode that has a lot of common issues in the line, such as limited posability, and an abundance of kibble. The last figure of the line released at retail was none other than Ravage, this time transforming into the Jaguar XK, a pretty cool car that gives me spy movie vibes. Unlike the previous Battle Ravage, this Ravage transformed into his classic looking animal form, making it the most unique alternator by far. Of course there was a ton of kibble on this guy, but man is he awesome looking. He even has the rockets from his G1 incarnation. I don't know why this line was so Ravage obsessed, but I'm glad we got a weird one and a cool one. These 2 were not released in the Binaltech line, though Japan had their own exclusives. We've already covered several exclusive repaints in Binaltech, but they were all repaints that were meant to be the same character. For example, the blue version of Prowl was still Prowl. Well, they did do a repaint of Decepticharge, turning that mold into RC. The Honda S2000 mode was now a clean white, with pink details popping up in robot mode. Since this was a straight repaint, this toy looks nothing like RC. The head sculpt honestly reminds me more of Megatron than anything, but this was the first ever non-exclusive, non-Spider RC toy ever released, so I have to give it props for that. There was also a spin-off line called Binaltech Asterisk, which featured 3 repaints paired with small models of human girls. No, this line is not the other one you might have heard of, Kiss Players. These are human characters that have appeared in different parts of previous fiction, and there was no weird romance angle to my knowledge. The most noteworthy figure from this line is Broad Blast, a repaint of Skids into Blaster. The vehicle mode is painfully dull, but I do like the Blaster elements that come out in robot mode. The other 2 are less interesting. One is Sunstreaker with a different paint job than the Alternators version, and the other is a repaint of Silver Streak into Alert, aka Red Alert, turning him into a police car. Not super interesting, but I figure I'd mention it. Now, some of these molds were used for Kiss Players, which while using the same toys is unrelated to Alternators or Binaltech, so I have no desire to discuss it in this video or ever in general, so we won't. The Alternators line came about in a period where the Transformers franchise was really evolving, and it was the first huge step in catering to the Generation 1 fan base. Though something I really like about these early days is Hasbro's willingness to experiment, trying something new while also maintaining iconic elements of the past. And we would see a lot of that in the next few years. Until the Prime Wars trilogy, where a lot of the effort started going towards G1 accurate designs, leading us to today's toys, which are spitting images of the original cartoon, and have dropped a lot of that creativity I came to love as a kid. There's no right way to do a toy line, but I really admire the swings that Alternators took, even if they didn't always knock it out of the park. Thanks for watching, and thanks to JP Fans for sponsoring the video. Please use my link to register on the website, you'll get a bunch of coupons, and redeem code dumbjake to get a 20% shipping discount coupon. Thanks to all my video sources. All of their channels and videos are linked below. I encourage you to go subscribe to them, and check out their full reviews on any figure you found interesting. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing. And if you'd like to support me further, I have a YouTube membership and Patreon. For $1 a month, both give you the same thing: an invite to my super chill Discord server, where we talk about toys daily, and have weekly Transformers watch parties. Right now we're watching through Generation 1, the OG Transformers show, every Friday. You also get access to my infrequent members exclusive podcast, where I sit down with other content creators to talk toys. Alright, I'll see y'all in the next one. Ciao.